It's the tale of Momonosuke and my review of One Piece episode 611. In last week's episode of One Piece, we were introduced to Momonosuke, who is the son of Kinemon, and we learned in last week's episode that apparently he can transform into a dragon, or has transformed into a dragon, and in this week it's confirmed that he actually ate this sort of weird experimental devil fruit that transformed him into the mascot of the Dragon Ball series.
Your wish has been granted.
Not only is it a cool power to be able to turn into a dragon, but it comes with a secondary effect. He can literally create little flying nimbuses to run on so that he can fly all over the place. That's one of the coolest powers I've seen in the series. But let's stay on track here. Momonosuke, he was the focus of this week's episode. We finally got to see how he made his way to the island and how he got this weird devil fruit. And what I think is interesting about this is, for some odd reason, they just want to keep this character in shadow the entire time while he's a kid. I really don't know why they don't want to show him this, because if you just pause while watching, you can easily see what he looks like through the outline. So what does this have to do with anything? Nothing. I just go off on tangents. But seriously here, what's interesting is we get to see he goes to this weird room, he finds this devil fruit, because apparently throughout this entire flashback you learn that Momonosuke is incredibly headstrong. He lives very strictly by his samurai code, and because of this he doesn't really want to accept help from anybody, and that includes even eating food. And like I said, he gets desperate and he eats this devil fruit, and that's when he becomes this weird dragon. And as he's making his way through the Punk Hazard facility, he notices what Caesar Clown is doing, and he freaks out and he starts to warn the kids. Unfortunately, he falls into this giant trash bin. His interactions with Luffy are awesome. Obviously, Luffy just wants to eat him. He actually thinks that he's an eel the entire time. By the way, if you've never had grilled eel, it's really good. So through the power of hunger, Luffy and Momonosuke are able to escape from the trash heap through the use of his weird flying nimbus abilities. Luckily, this is not the end of the episode. There's actually a little bit of action that's pretty badass. Even though it's very short-lived, I did like that they went back to the Smoker and Virgo battle, and I do like the way it was animated in this episode. I especially love the way when Smoker was sending his fists out and they were flying all over the place. And you gotta love that one good hit that he got on Virgo. That was pretty badass. You get your typical hijinks from Sanji, but when we finally go back to the biscuit room is when things start to get really interesting, because that's where Monet is still trying to keep everybody trapped in this room with her snow fruit. And we actually get to see she even has these brand new weapons, which appropriately are giant ice picks, which are both threatening and hilarious at the same time. And that's what One Piece is really good at doing, making something both funny and threatening at the same time. What I love about this is Zoro's like, no more bullshit, we are going to start fighting. And I love this. It's the battle of sharp weapons. It's the battle of green hair. And it's just going to be great. The preview for next week's episode looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So pretty decent episode of One Piece right here. The Momonosuke backstory isn't exactly my cup of tea, but at least it's pretty entertaining. I just wish they could have shortened it up a little bit. On the upside, like I said, you get these little moments of action at the end, which are pretty damn good. The Smoker versus Virgo battle, I kind of wish it had its own episode devoted to it. Maybe they'll get to it eventually. But the Monet versus Zoro thing, that's going to be really, really fun. I just love to watch Zoro fight. I mean, easily he's probably the second most popular character in the series. I at least think so. I mean, they could probably just do a whole series about Zoro. It would be incredible. But every single time he has a fight, there's a lot of build up to it. So hopefully this one will be really fun. And it looks like from the preview, the fight's going to be pretty crazy. So like I said, for me, it was a fairly average episode with a lot of setup. There were some pretty small action moments, but they were very short-lived. So, above average, but not perfect at all. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. But One Piece fans, definitely check it out because it had a lot of laughs and, like I said, a few cool action moments. So you'll definitely dig that. So, how did you guys feel about this week's episode of One Piece? Did you have any favorite moments? Is there anything else you want to see from some of these characters? What do you think of Momonosuke's powers? You can let me know with your comments below. And you guys definitely know the drill by now. Before you leave, give this video a thumbs up. One of the best ways to support our videos. That and taking a look at what we got up top. In fact, I just reviewed the 22nd episode of Attack on Titan. Another really good one, super emotional and action-packed. Make sure and check it out. So, I will see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000, out. And be on the lookout, my Hunter x Hunter reviews are just right around the corner.